Hello, you stinky boys. My name is Aero, and we are back again with another episode of Build It, Drift It, Kill It. Thank you guys very, very much for joining me. I know what you're thinking. Hey, Aero, didn't you think you were too good for YouTube? You know, do that little change over to Twitch. And yes, I have been focusing most of my efforts on my Twitch channel. If you'd like to follow it, there should be a graphic that comes up right there. I've been on the phone over at Twitch, but my internet has been playing games with me. Just to describe it very quickly, my upload speed is not consistent enough. I'm getting 15 megabytes download on speed tests, and it works for a little bit, and then it drops frames, and then it comes back, and then drops, and then garbage. So as I wait for my ISP to fix that, as I have been waiting for the past 8 months, I figured I could upload some content, and I've got a cool video coming. Not that this isn't a cool video, but it's an interesting video that I've been wondering personally for a while. At the request of somebody on Facebook, a completely random person, it was just like, hey, I'm having some problems with drift tunes. Can you help me? I'm like, well, I could tune you. He says he likes Nissans. I'm like, that's easy. I'm like, because I have a bunch. He's like, well, I need a 240, or I'd like a 240. I'm like, well, I haven't done one yet. Let's do one. Let's do one now. Body kit, obviously. I don't think this is the best Rock Bunny kit, to be honest with you. I think there are better ones in the game. The BMWs spring to mind as really nice examples, but I don't like it, but it is gonna let us offer a wider tire. Not really any good wings bar the Rocket Bunny one, so I'm just gonna throw the Rocket Bunny one on there. I was gonna make this car ESD legal, but I don't care. I'm not gonna go full 305. We'll do 285. That sounds reasonable. Again, you could just run the widest tire, but I'm choosing to be a little bit unique. Then we'll do a 265 in the front. Perfect. So to have this car ESD legal, should you choose it to be, would have to be just over 3,000 pounds. So with an engine swap, I'm sure that it's possible, but that's just not what we're going for here today. I'm going to put my favorite wheel in the game on this car. For what reason other than I like it. 1552, yup. Heck me up, daddy-o. 18s are fine. 18s are an acceptable size. We're gonna throw sport tires on here because to me that is the only acceptable tire compound. Street tires are fine. I just don't like them. And then race tires obviously are illegal, and drag tires are stupid. I can't wait for this video to be out for 6 months and then someone go in the comments, shut up, idiot. Like, drag tires, drifting, use your brain. And there's like no grip. It's just a stupid. Drifting is just as much about grip as it is about lack of it, and that's how you can tell who understands how to build a drift car and who doesn't. So I'm not saying they can't work, I'm just saying you're dumb, is what I'm saying. Low springs. Wow, that's okay. This car is a lot higher up in the air than I thought it was. But let's see, we'll put the cage on it, so we're not way over 3,000 pounds, but we are over 3,000 pounds. And then with that's 2,600, so we can only run a 265 if we wanted to make this ESD legal. Engine, KA, not the way. So we can do, I think this is a K20. I'm not entirely sure. It'd be nice to see the torque curve, but judging from the torque and the power, I think this is a Honda engine. I'm not sure. I have no idea, to be honest with you. Normally it's a little bit easier to tell, but this is obviously a RB. This is the V8, and then this is the 4-rotor, which I still think is the stupidest engine to put in a S chassis ever. It just doesn't make sense. It's just dumb. It's just so dumb. And again, I can't wait for people to yell at me in the comments. Fucking go for it. I'm not afraid of you. Honestly, like, if this was the SR20 and I'm just stupid, I would put this in. But don't think it is the SR20. So it's between this and the V8 and the RB, because we are going to go a little bit big power. Not super big, but like obviously more than the KA can deliver. The CA, I'm not sure what engine's in this car. I'm sure someone in the comments knows. I'll do an RB because as much as I do like V8s, and I think V8s, like hating V8s in 2018, I'll do RB just because it is a Nissan engine and a Nissan car. And they do sound terrible in this game. They sound trash garbage in this game, but you know. We'll do it for the people, because I feel like that's the people's choice. Guy never specified what engine he would like to see in this car, so I'm just gonna be guessing. I'm gonna max all this shit. I don't know how much power. Shouldn't be like 600, 650 range. Should be plenty. So I'm gonna tuck the heavy parts on now. And then I'm gonna go turbo over cams at first. I might do like sport of each and just kind of see where we end up. Just gonna feel like the turbos will sound nice. That's 553, and then a little bit more. 673 is just a bit too much. So we'll take some power out. I'm trying to get around 650 because it is a bigger tire. We'll do 631. That should be actually 643. No, 631. That should be plenty. On a 285, wider track, this should be more than enough horsepower. So, on to the fun part, which is Zatoon. Zatoon on the car. We put Zatoon on the car. So this is again new. I have like a newer style tuning. Thank you to my boy Minty. So I'm just gonna guess on the gears. This shouldn't be too hard to tune. Honestly, it is a 240. So like 240 basically drive themselves. For those who are asking questions that are like, well, how do I tune a car? And like, I don't know. And like this, whatever. Honestly, my thought process has always been, if you cannot drive a car that is untuned, and if you are struggling and like cannot make it around corners, then the problem is not the tune. For me, I know when it's time to work on a tune when the car doesn't feel as comfortable in my hands. So let's say I can get around I'm practicing for Long Beach right now for ESDA. So let's say that around Long Beach, I can get around the course, but to hit the wall with the amount of angle that I want, it doesn't feel comfortable in my hands. That's when you're gonna want to start working on your tune. If you can't do the course at all, which is how I was practicing last night off camera. I was just, it was late at night. I was like, hey, I got nothing better to do than practice. If you can't even make it around the course, don't even worry about the setup. Just focus on driving. And then once you start noticing like, oh man, I wish I could pull a little bit more angle in that corner. I wish the car rode differently or sat differently in that corner. That's when you can start worrying about that. But that's the base tune. We probably will need to tweak it a little bit. Oh, we're at Rio Mini. Oh no, we're not. But we will go to Rio Mini, just because that's a fun track and I enjoy it. We'll move to somewhere else after that, more of like a traditional drift section place. But we'll go to Rio Mini and we'll start our journey there. Hopefully I remember to turn tires off, and if I didn't, I'm stupid, and we'll go back and fix that. But let's see. Terrible entry. I haven't really driven yet today. But not bad so far. Again, kind of hard to tell off one corner. I think the front end is a little too stiff. Yep, that was just my bad. Hey, I think 285s was the right call. I think 285s was the right call. All right, so after one run, let's check my tires just to see if those are on, because that's going to affect everything. They sure are. So I think the front end is a little too stiff. I'm trying running no toe. I'm going to do that. I'm trying running no toe because it is helping on my Jag. My Jag's basically where I'm trying to learn new setup stuff and stuff I might like. Some of it might work, some of it might not. It's just this tuning thing is just like a constant learning process. So what did I change? I changed the dampening is down a little bit, front and rear, and then I changed what did I change? I changed some things in here. I changed that's back to 0, this -1, and then I put 0.2 positive camber in the rear. I'm gonna kick up the gears a little bit. Fourth is just a little bit too long, I think, and go at it again. I always try to change as little as I can, but that was my bad. It kind of sucks for videos too, because I don't want to do like 3 runs with 1 setting changed, and then go, all right, cool, and then do another 3 runs with like 1 setting changed. They go, all right, cool. Okay. As long as you like roll the throttle properly, it's pretty smooth. Oh boy, front end was just like, heck no, my friend. So something is wrong, and I'm not quite sure what to change. So I'm gonna do a little bit of toe in the rear, and we'll see how it plays with that. A lot of these settings too are like new to me, but I know they're better. It's kind of like a forcing some stuff on myself just to change my driving style. Again, Minty is way more of an accomplished tuner than I will ever be in my life. Minty is somebody that I've I don't want to say grown up with, but I know he's been around as long as he claims to have been around. There's a lot of people in the comments like, well, man, you should try this because I've been around since Forza 1. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sure you have, dude. I've been running drag tires since Forza 4 is the best. Okay. Sure thing, pal. Alright, goodbye, Wing. Lol. That's a little bit too much power on the low end. Yeah, the front end kind of just gets away from me, dog. So I don't know if I'm just driving like PP or like what. The rear end feels nice. Nice and planted. Especially when I turn the tires off. We'll do one more run here. Oh, that was more of a wall hit than a tap there. Just enough power to make that work at a decent angle. Just smooth. Front end just kind of gets away from me sometimes. Now, I'm not sure whether I need to stiffen or soften. So, I think that's the only change I'm going to have to make. So, I'm going to try softer. And then if that sucks, then we'll do stiffer and see if that works. The rear end is pretty set, so I'm not going to play around with that too much unless my mind changes. Oh, fuck. Okay, never mind. I was like, oh, for now, we're just going to change that. But, I'm gonna change fourth gear as well. I've noticed that like when you do final drive adjustments only, especially for drifting at least, first, second, third are fine. Fourth is way too long. Fourth, fifth, and sixth are way too long. So I just kind of like trim up fourth, fifth, and sixth. Like you can obviously go in and like tune these cars or these gears specifically to whatever track you want. But that's just the easiest thing I've found to do is maybe the rear is just too much grip, which is causing problems in the front. I don't know. Tuning is hard. I never said tuning was easy, which is why I have never. That's another question I get a lot, is why have I never put out a tuning guide? It's mostly because I've never feel like I'm accomplished enough to be like, all right, cool. This is what you can do to fix this, and this is what fixes this. Because like, I never feel like I've learned enough, you know. And a lot of tuning guides on YouTube are very. You can tell that they're in it for tuning downloads and really would rather just go into service for themselves. Like, this is the best setup. Oh, fuck. Not transitioning when I wanted to. I'm gonna go stiffer instead. Let's see what happens. They just sound like they're in service for themselves. They're like more concerned about tuning downloads and you liking their tunes and like you putting them on a pedestal and thinking they're the best tuner. If I put out a tuning guide, I would want to give you guys the tools to make your own setups. And you know what to do for your own car. I can, you know, a good baseline is a great place to start, but if your car over rotates on center or in apex, or like what I have a problem having right now, where like the front end just doesn't transition, how is that baseline setup gonna help you? If you don't like the way your car is handling, how is, oh, just set it to -5, it'll be the best, gonna help you fix it? It doesn't really tell you, people don't really tell you what these settings do. And I'm not confident enough in my knowledge of the game to be able to be like, nope, this is 100% what it does, no worries. Because that would be false advertising. Oop. A little bit too much power. The car is a little bit too high horsepower for this track, I think. But this car is meant to be like an all-rounder, something that you can do tandems with, something you can do points drifting with. It's kind of what a 240 should be in Forza, to be honest. Something you can kind of just use whenever you want. If you want to do like a missile build or like 1,000 horsepower V8, like you can do that, but the chassis itself should be able, just kind of like real life, I guess, just kind of be able to throw whatever you can throw at it and just handles it. That's why I like 240 so much. They just kind of, well, that was cool, a little bit too much speed going in there, but car kind of just does whatever you want it to do. It's like, oh, you want to make me a drag car? Cool. Oh, do you want to make me a, you know, an FD build car? Cool. If you want to make me a grassroots build, sick. I can do that. That's why I like 240s. With that, again, I think just a couple of runs, getting used to the car a little bit, and then the setup's good. I'm gonna raise tire pressure because as you maybe saw me checking as we were going. I was looking at tire pressures. I noticed that the tire pressure in the rear was a little bit higher, and as we went, the car felt better. So, which is good for points drifting. So I'm gonna take it to. We'll take it to Road Atlanta. Yeah, Road Atlanta is probably my best track personally. And then after that, I think we're gonna go to Sonoma. just because that's a track that does come up in hoppers, and we'll see how it competes there. 240 time on Road Atlanta. So this car was good at Rio. Rio is flat though. Probably my favorite. Yeah, cool. Thanks, auto start. It reminds me a lot of Sunset Club. I was gonna say East, but I forget what the East or West was. Sunset Club in Forza 4, where it was flat. You know, there was a longer section and a shorter section. It was about the most all-around drift section you can get. Rio really reminds me of that. You know, like a tight hairpin entry. There's those two like higher speed, like full throttle corners, and then the back half is more traditional to like an actual drift section. And there's no elevation change to like throw you off. You know, you want the tune being on to be able to be in a most balanced. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just let me drive. Not a really exciting entry there. Ooh, that whipped over really fast. So I'm gonna try not to make any adjustments that are Road Atlanta specific. Oh my god, then it just never transitioned there. Because Road Atlanta is a track that I find that I'm almost always more happy with a car that's set up specifically for here. A lot of people just don't fuck with their tunes. They like leave them. For me, Road Atlanta is a track that I find that I can't really get away with that. But I'm going to try to do as little to this car as possible. I just want to get it feeling perfect. Because it is a 240, which is a great beginner car. So I'm figuring a lot of people are probably going to be searching or downloading this car. That was awful coming up the hill. Transitions quick, but not too quick. That time it snapped. I think that's just because of how soft we have the rear. The rear just kind of goes and snaps around. I'm gonna try and I don't even want to fuck with it, dude. I'm gonna just a hint, just bring that up to 11. So pretty much the same ratios as before when we started tuning. Kind of just stiffened everywhere else. I don't know where the 50 roll is here. I'm just kind of guessing. I should know because this is my self-proclaimed best track. All right, so the car is a little twitchy, and I don't mean twitchy as in like it responds too fast. I mean twitchy as in like I'm sure you guys can tell. Basically, I want to set my cars up to make it look like I'm on a wheel when I'm not. Sometimes that is difficult, but the car is driving well. It is driving great. I could sit here and try to perfect it for Road Atlanta for a half an hour if I wanted to. That's the kind of entry I wanted. Thank you. It's a really well sorted car. Really, really well sorted. Like, herder, no shit. But like, I think the 285 was a good choice. Just to have fun on, you know, you could run a bigger tire if you want to run more horsepower. I'm sure this car on a 305 too would be stupid easy and stupid fun. Again, if you guys want to see me just do a quick like revisit where I put a 305 on it and a V8 and lots of horsepower. If you want me to revisit this car, I have no problems doing that. I figured you guys wouldn't want to see a car more than once. But I've been proven wrong by the audience in the past. So I changed my rear camber from 0.2 to 0.1. Just to talk about this really, really quickly. If you guys are old Forza heads, obviously positive camber is the devil. But as you can see in real life cars, and I saw it for the first time this weekend, or last weekend watching Long Beach, Formula Drift Long Beach. Some of them have a ton of positive camber in the rear. Because when the car goes on throttle, the rear end squats down. As you can see, actually look at the rear camber. It's those numbers on the bottom. See, we're at 0.1. As soon as we get on the gas, there's negative camber. So you kind of want to offset that with a little bit of positive camber. So when the that fucking sucks. So you want to offset that with a little bit of positive camber. So when the car does get on throttle, there's as much contact patch in the rear as possible. Positive front camber was just like some sort of weird. I don't know if it was like a physics glitch, but in the older Forza games, you could basically just pull as much angle as you wanted, but you went like 5 miles an hour. And it was banned because it was like training wheels. Same reason why race tires are banned. That and it doesn't really reflect real life competition. And I think we're gooch. I think that was the fix. I'm actually surprised at how much in Forza 7 that little changes would really affect the setup on a car. You know, you think you could change like a slider like halfway across the board and it'd be like, oh yeah, it's totally fine, like no big deal. But at least in what I've found, like little changes can really affect how a car drives. Dropped a tire there. See, there's like a bump there, and if you get stuck in it, you're in trouble. Again, I could set this car up specifically for this section, but I don't want to do too much. I mostly just want to try something with some elevation changes a little bit tighter. And I'm pretty happy how this car is driving currently. So I'm going to bring it to, so we're going to go to Sonoma, the NASCAR track, because it makes my PP stiff. And we'll do like a lap or somewhere around here. Off to test drive. What? Why is there a Veneno in front of me? Why is there a Veneno in front of me? Or Centenario, I'm an idiot. But this is probably one of my favorite tracks that comes up in rotation online. Not really much of a points guy myself. I just, I don't get any fun out of it anymore. The only fun I get is when I try to tandem with people, but most people just get so fucking scared that they don't want to get anywhere close to you. Oh, it's a grip. Big grip, big grip. This feels down on power, which it shouldn't. Big entry into there. That wasn't really the right line. It's fine. It's fine. Careful one over the hill. Oh, I should have went to that other track that I'm not going to say because people are going to yell at me and say I should have went there. But it's fine. Snow was different. Favorite, like, corner combos here. Go really wide. Ooh, you could probably run the wall out there. I'm sure you wouldn't get points out there, but it'd be fun to look at. So, I mean, so far, so good. I think the car's a little bit stiff, but I think there's a lot of grip tuned into it, which is a good thing. Only problem is sometimes the front end's just like, nah, dog, I'm going this way, which I think is, you know, the end. It might be a little bit front heavy because of the RB, which is, funnily enough, heavier than is heavier than a 6.2 liter V8. But I wanted to do the RB on this one. I don't know why. I don't know what possessed me to do that. I'm going to make one last change. If it doesn't fix it, heck it. Heck it all. It's going to stiffen the spring rate a little bit to 647. I'm really bad, dudes. What's good on, dudes? I'm really bad with making small changes. That's just how I am. It's just how I play the game. I do quick changes, try it. Quick changes, try it. I know you guys have a hard time copying the setup, which to that I say that's kind of insulting. You can just download it. This one is like, hey, it's a 240. People are trying to learn. You know, if it's a harder car to tune, then like I'm less like eager to give out a base setup. But like, oh, that was just really bad driving on my part. Did not bring it out wide there for some reason. Did you know that talking and driving is actually very difficult? But no, this car is driving. Can I hit the wall here? Hey, I'm cool. Honestly, as a full track car, this car feels good. Just the front end kind of gets away from me sometimes, but I think that's just because I'm a little greedy with the angle. Can I, speaking of greedy, oh, I almost hit the tires again. Nah, just way too fast, but I think I'm just a little greedy with the angle. I honestly like how it feels. I'm sure that you could fiddle around with tire widths and get the car to feel completely different. I just didn't want to put 305s on it. I feel like that was boring. And then we have to run like 800 horsepower. And I still think this car maybe could benefit with closer to 650 or maybe a little bit over like 675 for full track driving. But for section driving, like, this felt perfect. And I feel like this is a good balance. Like, I'm making it work. Oh, my line. I could have did better there. I took the grass instead because I'm an idiota. Now can I stretch this? Oh yeah, I can. Oh, I went off track though. Rip. Rip. Can I hit the wall again without embarrassing myself? Not really. Like, that is so fun. That wall ride is so fun. If they got rid of that inner wall, man. I understand why they don't. Because, you know, if they do, then people can cut the track, but turn 10, please. Yeah, you kind of just have to set yourself up properly. Hit your lines right. I don't know whether it's the engine or the way I have it set up. It's just made to hook and go, which is how I'm liking my car at driving at the moment. Ooh, I got close to the tires again. And with that, guys, I think we're good. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any suggestions for cars you'd like to see in future videos, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. I don't know how much longer this doing YouTube over Twitch thing is going to last, because it all depends on how good my connection is. Thank you guys very much. Again, follow me on Twitch if you haven't already. I have a Twitter as well. And I'll see you, or Discord's fun too. Go do Discord stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.